We have a heartbreaking end to the search for Jimmy Gracey, the 20-year-old University of Alabama student who disappeared while on spring break in Barcelona. Spanish authorities have now confirmed a body that turned up this afternoon was his. He was found floating in the water near the beachfront nightclub where he was last seen alive. Investigators say surveillance video showed him leaving that nightclub with a stranger at around 3 a.m. Tuesday. When he never came back to the Airbnb where he was staying with friends, the desperate search to find him drew international attention. Although there's no mystery now about the fate of Gracey, the investigation now turns to how he died and whether he's the victim of a crime. With spring break now in full swing, the tragedy is a sobering reminder of the potential dangers students can face traveling abroad, even for those like Gracey, who was athletic, 6'1", whose parents said he was, quote, always responsible. Our hearts go out to his family tonight. For more, Michael Matranga joins us. He's a former Secret Service agent. We're also joined by Dr. Andrea Malkin Brenner, who's a college transition educator. Thank you both. Michael, I've got a couple law enforcement questions, so I'll start with you. Jimmy had literally just arrived in Barcelona. He flew in Monday, went out Monday night with his friends, and then vanished overnight into Tuesday morning. I spoke to other college students who have been to that club, Shoko Club, and they told me it's a very large beach club right on the Strip. Mostly tourists go there. They say it's packed all the time. They put it way too packed, and there are lots of scammers lurking around. That's the thing I keep hearing from this nightclub, which is a magnet for teenagers and young adults, that there were lots of petty crime pickpockets around this club.
Yeah, I think condolences to the family, first of all. I have college kids. No one likes to think that these things can happen to their kids, but they absolutely can, even to the most responsible of kids. And we teach them right. But, unfortunately, I think we should wait and see what the investigation unfolds as to, how he possibly could have found himself in that water. I can recall multiple times being on presidential trips, one in particular, Brazil, Copacabana Beach. We're on the boardwalk. We're watching multiple American tourists come in and out of the clubs to the beach. Most of them were extremely intoxicated. And I'm not insinuating that's what happened, but what I'll tell you is that American kids of this age, though they have access to alcohol and these particular types of things here in the United States, it's a different culture.
Yeah.
In some of these other countries, and they overindulge and they find themselves in these situations. And unfortunately for the Gracey family, they're going to be burying their child.
And Michael, the focus now will be on whether or not there were any other injuries as well as toxicology. I mean, because the other question in a packed, very crowded nightclub with a lot of people, could he have been drugged?
Correct. I'm curious to see if there's any blunt force trauma or any trauma to his body based upon the autopsy, or to see what the toxicology reports would be. That he may have fallen victim to, a recreational drug that he might not have ever used, that his body had an unusual reaction to. And so the toxicology reports and the autopsy reports will let us know if there was any foul play.
Yeah, and also, just before I get to Andrea, he was seen leaving the club at about 3 a.m. with a stranger. They're obviously going to be looking for that person to question them.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest dangers is that our kids in the United States are not aware of some of these other dangers in other countries and the cultures, that what's acceptable, what's not acceptable behavior. And in a lot of ways, American kids are somewhat vulnerable because of their ability or inability to be able to determine when someone's taking advantage of them. So I hope that's not the case. Unfortunately, again, the Gracey family is going to have to deal with the tragic death of their child for a very long time.
Andrea, Michael brings up a good point. How much should families be concerned and warn their kids about as they go on these spring break trips? Spring break is happening right now. Lots and lots of families have kids who are going on these trips to other countries. I know I warned my son when he went on his spring break trip to be really street smart, and and he's a New York City kid. What about that cultural difference sometimes?
I mean, look, it's always a challenge parenting a young adult who's lived away from home and, believes that they are independent. I believe strongly that there are still non-negotiables if we have parents who are involved in our college kids' lives. Those would be sharing your travel documents, knowing their lodging and their transportation plans, knowing who they're traveling with, contact information for those other kids as well as their families is really quite helpful. And then, being proactive rather than reactive, having conversations in advance, throwing out some what would you do scenarios if you are in a different culture, a different place, and you're feeling uncomfortable. How would you handle that? So talking in advance about those things is really crucial.
And Andrea, that's an important point. Make sure you don't just have your own son or daughter's phone number and address where they're going to be staying. Get the phone numbers of the other kids he or she is traveling with.
Absolutely.
You can check in with them and say, have you seen, why haven't I heard, that sort of thing. Michael Matranga, Dr. Andrea Malkin Brenner, thank you both so much. Important advice. What a heartbreaking story. Really tough for this family.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.